Hi and welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about the early history of what is now Great Britain. This is not intended to be an in-depth university level lecture. It is more of a general overview to help those of you studying for the Life in the UK test. It is not intended to be a replacement for the handbook that you have for the Life in the UK tests. It's more of an addition to that, in case having someone telling you about it is easier than reading it. This is the first in what will be a series of short videos covering different times in British history. So with that, let me welcome you to the Stone Age. First of all, let's look at the difficult vocabulary. Listen to the definition and then try to match the word with the meaning. A hominid is an early human-like or ape-like creature. A tsunami is a Japanese word used in English. It is a very tall, powerful wave that causes damage, floods, and even loss of life. Submerged means completely covered by water. Listen to the history and then try to answer these 4 questions to check your understanding. Originally, Britain was not an island. It was connected to the European mainland by a land bridge, which we now call Doggerland. A land bridge just means that there was no sea between Britain and the European mainland, and so people could walk from one to the other. Britain was probably first populated by groups of hunter-gatherers who were hominid-type creatures. They crossed the land bridge between 500,000 and 900,000 years ago and lived here where they hunted deer, bison and rhino. There is evidence of tool making and the killing and eating of animals in some parts of the country. They left again before the coldest part of the Ice Age, which was known as the Anglian Glacial Era, about 470,000 years ago. Modern humans arrived about 40,000 years ago, and they remained until 25,000 years ago, when there was another Ice Age. During this time, the ice sheets reached as far as what is now the Bristol Channel. Around 15,000 BCE, the global temperatures began to warm again, and around 13,000 BCE, the hunter-gatherers returned via the land bridge. By 10,000 BCE, the sea levels had risen considerably, and about 2,000 years later, there was a tsunami caused by an underwater landslide near Norway. This submerged Doggerland, and Britain became an island. Here are the answers. Hopefully you got all of these correct, but if not, you may wish to rewind and listen again. When you're ready, let's move on to the later Stone Age. Here are the next few difficult words. Listen to the definition and then try to match the word to the meaning. Domesticated is the opposite of wild. Domesticated animals have been tamed to be kept as a pet or farm animal. Well preserved means something is still in good condition even though it is old. An archaeologist is a person who studies objects from the past. A monument is an important historical building or structure usually built as a memorial. Only 2 of these 4 statements are true. Listen carefully and decide which ones. About 6,000 years ago, farmers arrived from continental Europe by sea. They brought domesticated animals such as sheep with them. Crops did not grow naturally in Britain, but these farmers brought wheat and barley with them and planted this. The hunter-gatherers who were already here probably began to copy the farmers, and eventually they too settled to farming. By about 3000 BCE, they were building houses, and there is a well-preserved example of a Stone Age village on the Scottish island of Orkney called Skara Brae. It has 10 to 12 houses which are partly underground. This village has helped archaeologists to understand how people lived during the Stone Age. People in the Stone Age also built various stone circles and monuments, the most famous of which is Stonehenge. Here is a recap of those main points. Originally, Britain was not an island. You could travel between Britain and the rest of Europe by land. Early humans first came between 500,000 and 900,000 years ago. The first people to come were hunters and gatherers. Humans came and went several times as the climate warmed up and cooled down again. Modern humans arrived about 40,000 years ago, and they remained until about 25,000 years ago. Around 13,000 BC, the hunter-gatherers returned by land. By 10,000 BC, the sea levels were rising, and around 8,000 BCE, Britain became an island. About 6,000 years ago, farmers arrived by sea. They brought animals such as sheep with them, as well as crops such as wheat and barley. Stone Age people built houses, and there are examples of these on Orkney called Skara Brae. People in the Stone Age also built stone circles, the most famous of which is Stonehenge. I hope you found that useful. You may wish to listen again, but if you feel confident, look out for the next video where we'll talk about the Bronze Age and the Iron Age. I look forward to welcoming you back.